1, 2, 2. No, got nothing.
Did you have something in there, though?
I felt like I did, but
You don't.
yeah. Go again. And is there a trim on that line? 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. No. 1, 2. No.
No, I can. I just go. Sorry,
Yep.
boys.
Okay.
Yeah, not ideal, but
I can't hear myself in the cans.
yeah,
I can only hear
we're not
my own
going
voice.
to.
Well, I mean, the only thing that worries me is whether my voice is okay.
Oh,
Yeah, she's gonna burn through everyone eventually. She's pretty close though. Because every time I see it, like I think that, I'm thinking this can't be good. She's eventually just gonna, she'll be all. That's what will happen. Anyway. this shirt on. I almost did a brief after that. Alright, so Campbeltown then obviously must have taken out the SANPL then. Yeah.
What?
Campbeltown obviously must have taken out the SANPL if...
Oh yeah, they must have won it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, I wondered who did, but which kind of does make sense because like the majority of people who turn up at soccer games are Italian. The majority of players are Italian.
Yeah.
And Campbeltown is like the heart of Italian. So, you know, it does kind of make sense in a way, I think.
South Australia versus the champion and premiers of New South Wales. So the best two teams in their respective competition all year will be facing off today. The winner, unless there's a real sort of strange permutation of results, will more than likely host the final next week against Lion FC, Paul. Let's just quickly explain to our viewers how that point system works and how it will be determined that either Sydney Olympic or Campbelltown City will host that final.
Well, during the series here of the National Premier Leagues in the quarter, semi and final, there is a point system which basically only exists to decide who is going to be a host team. A normal time win gets you 3 points, an extra time win gets you 2, and a win on penalties get you 1. All goals count, 3 points if you score them at home, 4 if you get them away. And if you concede a goal or get a yellow card, you lose a point, and you lose 3 points if you get a red card. Don't expect you to remember all that out there if you're listening, because we'll keep you up to date. But what we can say is on matches played so far, Campbelltown has a whopping 14 points, thanks entirely to that 3-0 win away to Canberra in the quarter-final. Lions are in the grand final with 8 points, and Sydney Olympic have 4. Now, you'd think that the winner today would boost their points tally. Campbelltown almost looked like a lock. I mean, the only way they could really not host the final if they win today was if they had perhaps a 0-0, went to penalties and got lots of yellow and red cards, would really be the only way their points tally could go under Lions if they win today. But Sydney Olympic are also in a very, very good position if they were to win to overtake Lions' points tally. So very, very strong chance that the winner of today will be the host of the grand final.
For an example, let's say Sydney Olympic win 1-0 in extra time, Paul. That would mean they get 6 points because they got an away goal worth 4 and a win in extra time, which is worth 2. That'll take that.
Fair, but both these clubs have had absolutely tremendous season. Campbelltown and Sydney Olympic fans might be interested to know have not been beaten on this pitch this season. During the regular season, of their 11 matches here, they won 10 of them and drew just one. Absolutely terrific record. And in a semi-final against Adelaide City here, they won that 1-0 in extra time as well. So they're really, really hard to beat. But you look at Sydney Olympic and they've been extremely good defensively, only conceding the 19 goals for the season.
Yeah, that's fantastic, isn't it? In New South Wales, in the NPL, of course, Sydney Olympic won the premiership on the last day of the season. They beat their opponents, APL Leichhardt, who were above them, lost surprisingly at home to Hokoa, and Sydney won the title based on that superb defence. I mean, Apia had scored a phenomenal amount of goals. They had a greater goal difference, but Sydney Olympics defence had kept that goals against tally so low that it kept them in right next to APL all year, and of course they jumped them in the last game of the season. Interestingly, Paul, a bit of sort of scuttlebutt going around here in the NPL scene in South Australia is that Joe Mullen is one of the names being thrown around as a possible replacement for Damien Mori at Adelaide City. It's sort of, we've heard other names like Michael Matrucciani, who's taken over the women's NTC team, National Training Centre team, and done a fantastic job. But Mullen is one of the names being suggested as a replacement. So interesting to see if he ends up coaching his last game.
Yeah, indeed.
Campbelltown City
He's
today.
had a phenomenal record here.
Let's have a look at those starting lineups for you. Starting with the away team, Sydney Olympic FC. Number 2 is Thomas Whiteside. Number 6 is Nikola Kalevsky. Number 7, William Angel. Number 8, Jason Madonis. Number 9, Radisson Pavicevic. Number 10, Max Burgess. Number 11 is Jinya Ahn. Number 12, Zachary McKenzie. Number 14 is Alejandro Sanchez Lopez, who's just known as Sanchez if you are watching for the first time. Number 20 is Ezekiel Consoni, the goalkeeper. Number 23 is Riley Woodcock. On the bench, number 30 is Nicholas Lowe. Number 19, Darcy Burgess. 21 is Stephen Athanasiaris. 24 is Christopher Gligor. And number 33 is Nicholas Tatalios.
Campbelltown City, the home side, they'll be represented in goal by number 20, Nicholas Harpus. And then that's number 2, Sean Harvey, their captain. Number 4, Ian Fife. 5 is Matthew Mullen. 8, Alexander Mullen. Just Alex Mullen is how we'll call him during the game, how he's best known. 9, Mark Marino. 10, Luigi De Troia. 11, Anthony Toure. 14, Adam Piscineri. 18, Yohei Matsumoto, and 23 is Jake Halliday. Substitutes today for Campbelltown. Not many changes from the side that defeated Canberra. 7, Anthony Piscineri is the only one that comes in. 12, Joseph Kogoy. 16, Andrew Mayo. 19, Thomas Viet, and the reserve goalkeeper is Joe Ruggiero.
Interesting bit of a mental gameplay here by Campbelltown City, not letting Olympic warm up on their side. Even though Olympic broke from the huddle first, went to the Campbelltown side, and Campbelltown ran straight over there and kicked them off to the other side. So a bit of mind games nice and early. Ian Fife, of course, the captain for Campbelltown, and Jason Madonis for Sydney Olympic, getting the formalities out of the way. Talk about Ian Fife. He's one of a handful of players in both teams that have got A-League experience. Interestingly, Ian Fife also played for Sydney Olympic in the old NSL pool.
He certainly did. He played for them in the final NSL season, and he was a visitor to Adelaide United, who he would later play for that season. And he's still going strong. 36 years old, Ian Fife, a terrific career. And think back, he played for Australia way back in 1999 in New Zealand when they were going to the Under-17s World Cup there. And he's been absolutely tremendous this season. He's even got 5 goals as well as his defensive duties. And I think one of the most important things in today's game will be how will Fife and Matthew Mullen go up against Sanchez. And one of the remarkable stats, we talked about how Sydney Olympic has only conceded 19 goals. Well, Sanchez has actually scored more than that by himself. He scored 21 for the season. So really extraordinary that their top goal scorer has scored more than they've conceded for the season. So that's going to be one of the absolutely crucial battles of this game, is will be the central defence of Mullen and Fife and how they cope with the goal-scoring threat of Sanchez.
Absolutely. And on the Sydney Olympic side, you might be familiar with names like Pavicevic, of course, Woodcock, Haji Gligor, Nicholas Tatalios. They've all got A-League experience, fantastic footballers. It's going to be an absolute cracker of a game. We're not too far away from kickoff here in the semi-final in the NPL series between Campbelltown City and Sydney Olympic. Paul is going to commence the commentary for us in a split second.
Marino is over the ball for Campbelltown, just waiting for the start. Beautiful day here in Newton in the Campbelltown Council. Here in South Australia. There's Harvey getting an early touch. Busy in midfield with Adam Piscineri. And Campbelltown are going to bring it along the back line with Fife. Halliday looks to see what's ahead of him. Goes long to try to find Marino, but that's going to be cut out by Whiteside. And Sydney Olympic are going to clear. So expect some early contests in this game. Fife just winning that header and trying to get hold of it is De Troia. And back to Piscineri, but he's given it away, and Sydney Olympic going to get possession for the first time through Angel, their right back. Pitch in excellent state, as we mentioned. Just a handful of little bumpy parts, but it will run true for most of this game. There is Sanchez trying to get control, but he's lost out. It's going to be a throw for Sydney Olympic. Club with a tremendous history. And they're back on the national stage. Of course, they have been in the FFA Cup as well in previous seasons. And here they go forward, but that ball there from Angel didn't find his target. And it's going to be a throw-in for Campbelltown. Fife. Oh, dangerous ball there. And Sydney Olympic might be in here in an early shot and an early goal! Extraordinary. Great goal, Max Burgess. Goodness me, Harpers didn't even move. And we're in the second minute, and already the score is Campbelltown City 0, Sydney Olympic 1.
What a start for Sydney Olympic, the visitors. Absolute thunderbolt there from Max Burgess. There was a poor pass by the captain, Ian Fife. He knows it too. His shoulders are slightly down. He shrugged. He's telling everybody, okay, I made a mistake, calm down. But that was an absolute quality finish from Max Burgess. Probably about 20 or 25 metres out, Paul, and it just flew into the top corner, and that is 1-0 to Sydney Olympic. What a thunderbolt that was from the central midfielder in Max Burgess.
Absolutely, and I can only imagine that he wrong-footed Harpers. Harpers just didn't move. He was rooted to his spot as the shot flew in. And, well, this is just like kicking off a match 1-0. And a big shot there by Alex Mullen. It's just gone over the bar. I think Consoni would have been fine, though. But it really is like kicking off when you're a goal down.
That's right. I mean, Joe Mullen did play with Damien Murray at Adelaide City. So maybe he said to young Alex there, just try one of those. That is a great start for Sydney Olympic. And they will restart now with the goal kick. It's gone all the way, and here's Sanchez. Great flick on there. Couldn't find Pavicevic, and Campbelltown forced to clear. Marino isolated up front. Cleared by Olympic. There's the goal scorer, Burgess, to the captain. Madonis. And Campbelltown have regained possession, and it's now with Ian Fife. He will be devastated with the way he gave that ball away for that goal. Uncharacteristic for a player of his quality. Halliday, and he's fouled, and that's the first free kick of the game. And Toure looking now to take a quick one. But he decided to leave it, and up goes Ian Fife. He calls his central defensive partner in Matthew Mullen. There are 3 Mullins in the Campbelltown City team. Alex and Matthew, they play on the park, and Joe's the coach. So we'll try and make sure we give you an idea who we're talking about when we say Mullen. If we get confused, we might just say Mullen because there's likelihood it might be one of them.
Famous family here in Adelaide, of course.
Free kick here for Campbelltown. Can they get an equaliser? Can they get that goal back? Swung in beautifully. Had too much on it in the end. It's gone all the way through to Consoni.
Consoni just wants to slow it down. The Campbelltown players are going to stay up. They've been very good in attack this year, Campbelltown. They've been a very free-scoring team, and they're going to need to show that today if they're going to get back into this, because they're already facing a deficit. And you know, the Sydney Olympic side's got more goals in them. There's Piscineri trying to crash through, but he's going to have to go back in the end, and this time it's played safe back to Harpus. Now he's up there looking for Toure. Good control. Campbelltown now, sorry, it's Detroyer, and Campbelltown now just want to see if they can get some possession in the attacking half, and that's a really good boy by Detroyer to get Alex Mullen on the ball. Out onto the right-hand side to Matsumoto, and his header's not going to find anyone, but not a great clearance there, and it's come back to Alex Mullen. Can he play the 1-2? The try, Toure put it back through for him, but didn't quite come off. Now Olympic have got a chance to counter-attack, and here goes Sanchez, but it's going to be dealt with by Matthew Mullen.
Nick Harpus, the Campbelltown City goalkeeper, was almost, well, he wasn't almost. He didn't concede in the grand final. Some of the saves he pulled off in the grand final against Adelaide City, single-handedly keeping Campbelltown in that game and making them champions. He'll be devastated to concede so early, but not much any goalkeeper can do with a shot of that quality from Max Burgess.
It's another bad touch by Fife, who's just not gotten into the game so far, has given the ball away. And Sydney Olympic are now coming back through with Arn. Arn now. Back to Mackenzie. Tries to put down the wing, but that's going to be dealt with. Oh, it's given away again. And here's Burgess. Well, wondering if he might try again, but that time it's been well won there by Mullen. And he's got Marino up there in front of him. Good ball through for Toure, who's swapped wings. Can he get a good cross in? He's got Detroyer in the middle. Here's Marino with a shot. Oh, it's going to be offside because the shot went straight into his teammate. And Sydney Olympic, well, they wanted to get on with it quickly, but the referee said no, take it back.
Looks like one of the Sydney Olympic players might have a bit of blood, so a bit of a pause here while there's some treatment. Just trying to get eyes on who that is. Not walking off the park is the player, but just near us. But the game will continue, and it's Consoni with the relieving free kick for Sydney Olympic. Really well won there by Mullen, but only as far as Arn, Pavisevic. But Mullen again, getting in the way. He's had 2 great seasons locally here, has Mullen for Campbelltown City. Mackenzie's ball down the line for Sydney Olympic will go for a throw-in for the Red Devils. It was Angel, the right-back, who looks like he's got a blood nose. So Olympic currently playing with 10. Really well done there by Kolevsky. Great pressure, forcing Harvey just to kick it into him and win a throw-in. Piscineri now looking for a long ball, but that's going to go all the way through to Consoni. Just on Mullen, since he came back from Sydney FC, of course, in the A-League, was single-handedly the reason why Para Hills Knights in the NPL here in South Australia made the finals last season. This year, undoubtedly one of the reasons why Campbelltown are premiers and champions here in South Australia. Long ball now from Mackenzie, but only as far as the Campbelltown defence, and there is that player Mullen, all the way back to Matthew Mullen. He slipped, that's twice, and here goes Sydney Olympic. Can they get through with Sanchez? Well cleared by Fife, and that'll be the first corner of the game, and that will go to Sydney Olympic. Just almost the 9th minute mark here. It is 1-0 to Sydney Olympic. Max Burgess with an absolute thunderbolt in the 2nd minute of the game, giving the visitors the 1-0 lead.
First corner of the game, and we've only been playing 8 minutes despite Sydney Olympic being 1-0 up. It's been a great start for them, and just a couple of mistakes in defence by Campbelltown City. Just saw a bit of a slip there. There was some watering of the pitches about 90 minutes ago, but don't expect that would be a big problem. Just
very funny there. Madonis, who was going to go over and take the corner, was deliberately going slow so his teammate could get back on the park, which he's, of course, been off for a while, Angel, now getting treatment on that blood nose.
Who says these people are not professionals?
And just to make life even more difficult for us, Paul, Angel's had to change tops. He's now wearing number 5.
Corner. Flick on, but no, not quite. And Campbelltown are going to get away. Marino's got a bit of space here, and he's got one player ahead of him. And that's a really, really good ball for Detroit to run onto. He's got hold of it, and Marino has continued his run into the box with Halliday. But good defending by Sydney Olympic, and the moment was lost there for Campbelltown. Oh, and gee, there's another ball that just a little bit dangerous, but that one was okay for Harpus. Now, there's an offside there and a free kick as well. So Sydney Olympic are going to come up with it. Clash there between Halliday and, was it Angel again?
I think it's definitely
down.
Halliday down.
Yeah.
Angel is there, and so is the captain of Sydney Olympic, Madonis.
It's going to be a free to Sydney Olympic, whatever happens.
It's obviously a head clash, so they are obviously an abundance of caution.
Steve Woodcock Sports Centre, where we are now, home of Campbelltown for many, many years. Club formed in 1963. I
was going to say, Paul, whilst we've got a break here, what do you make of Matsumoto's gloves?
Yeah, I think it's a bit warm for them, but he's still got them on. 21 degrees was the forecast today. I reckon we're just about there. But not quite sure what climate he's used to. But, you know, if that's what does it for him, well, fair play, I say. We're in the suburb of Newton, into the Campbelltown Council area up here. For those of you that are from Sydney, Campbelltown in Sydney might be in the west, but here Campbelltown is in the east. And as you can probably see from the pictures, facing the beautiful Adelaide Hills, and they are so close to where we are now that if you start driving in that direction, it's really only a couple of minutes before the houses end and the windy road starts. So we really are in the foothills here in Campbelltown.
Of course, beyond the windy roads is one of the things that South Australia is best known for, and that's wine.
Indeed.
So we're just outside of wine country here in South Australia. Campbelltown City, a long-established club, one of the big teams in the state, of course. And if you're just joining us, like we said, this pitch and ground is scheduled for an upgrade. A synthetic surface will be installed very soon here, which is all the rage right now in South Australia, if you're not sure. A lot of synthetic surfaces going around in order to promote all-year gameplay for our beloved game, and a lot of clubs going that way. Burkalla, who were relegated from the NPL, they'll be playing on a synthetic surface for the first time next year. Like we just said, Campbelltown. West Adelaide have built a fantastic facility as well in the inner north of Adelaide suburbs. It's all the rage.
the Sydney Olympic restart. Halliday's come off to get treatment. He walked very close to our position. He has got a fair bit of blood on him, so they're going to have to do a bit of work before he can go back out. His Whiteside is playing the ball back to Mackenzie on the left here. It's a lot ahead of him, so Mackenzie and Kalevsky are going to continue to play. There's a good ball down the right, but down the left, but well won on Campbelltown's right by Matsumoto. It's going to be a free kick for Sydney Olympic. It's going to be taken by Woodcock, Pavicevic, and well won by Matsumoto, and it's going to be a Campbelltown throw in the end. Really good play by the Japanese player. And they'll be looking to him to provide service, but also to finish. He scored the crucial goal in the grand final here in South Australia. So he knows how to score at plenty of time. A great little back heel there by Alex Mullen. There's Piscineri now, spreading it to the left-hand side, where he's got Toure. Fife's fallen over again, and Harpus is going to get there. And dear oh dear, there's been a couple of moments like that for the Campbelltown defence. And goodness, like I said, the water was on the surface about an hour and a half ago, but would have thought that wouldn't have been a problem now.
This pitch is notorious for it getting really hard in summer, so I wouldn't be surprised if the water's made it almost like ice for the Campbelltown players, who are used to playing here in winter, of course, have not adjusted at all. That's a hopeful shot there from Arn, but that's well over the bar for him, and it'll be Harpus with the goal kick now for Campbelltown. He's tried to play a quick one to the far side. There's Toure, who's dropped into Halliday's position while he's getting treatment. Piscineri. Mullen. That's the third time that he's put himself in trouble, Mullen. Ball did hit his arm, but nothing intentional. And the referee called play on. Kept in beautifully by Harvey, but he's given it up for Burgess. Sydney Olympic are a fantastic team, you can tell. And here's Riley Woodcock overlapping, former Perth and Sydney player. Burgess now, about from where he scored from, but he's well pressured there by Matsumoto. But Burgess, one way then the other, and on the far side to Angel. Slowing it down, our Olympic. Kalevsky, obviously liking to drop into that role as the ball player from deep. Back to Whiteside. Whiteside now, allowed to move forward. Here's Sydney Olympic just outside the box. Burgess again. He's a handful, isn't he? He's forced to go back out. Swung in now. Here's Sanchez. But that should be a corner for Sydney Olympic, and it is a corner. Sanchez's header just coming off the back of Matthew Mullen in the central defensive position there for Campbelltown City. And that'll be the second corner for Sydney Olympic. And it'll be their captain, Madonis, to swing one in. 1-0 here at Campbelltown's home ground. The fantastically sun-bathed stadium that it is, Steve Woodcock Sports Centre. Sydney Olympic 1, Campbelltown City 0. Madonis swings it in. Should be Harpus' ball. Oi! Wow, that was really nice from Mackenzie, getting in, sneaking in ahead of Harpus, and really probably could have scored there. Keeper caught in no man's land, as they like to say. Mackenzie's header in there just wide, and that's another warning sign for Campbelltown. They need to find something quick. Sydney Olympic are looking really, really good right here.
It's pretty early to update you on this, but as things stand, Sydney Olympic are in the box seat to host the final. That goal has taken them to 8 points. They would get another 3 if they won in we'll just pause for a moment because the ball nearly played over for Marino by Matsumoto, but Pavicevic, he's given it away too. And here's Mullen. Now he tries to play a 1-2, I think, but just burrowing through his Marino. Can he get a shot in? Oh, keeper's done really well there. Well done, Consoni. He was alive to the danger, and he stopped Marino in his tracks. Now, excellent play there by Sanchez, and he gets up, and I reckon he's going to win the free kick. He does, given away by Harvey. Sydney Olympic can turn into attack in a lightning bolt. Arn plays it to Kalevsky. Madonis. Sorry, it's come out to Angel now. Sydney Olympic just have every red player in front of them at the moment, so they're just being patient. They don't need to rush things. Kalevsky. Might look out left here, but tries to put a ball through. But Campbeltown were well set up there. And here comes an opportunity for Marino to run on again, but he's got two defenders either side of him. One defender either side of him, two in total. And Matsumoto is going to come over to take the throw.
Very impressed with Mackenzie, Paul. Tall, quick. I mean, Mark Marino's no slouch on the park, and he quickly caught up to Marino and cleared that ball. Very impressive with the number 12 centre-back for City Olympic. Keep an eye out for him.
Matsumoto gets it from Harvey. Gets it back. There's not much room, but he's done well there to get it into Mullen. Mullen now battling in midfield. And he's lost out. Sanchez has come up with the ball. Here's Max Burgess. Sanchez, this is dangerous. He's got a couple ahead, and well done in the end, Matthew Mullen, to force him back. And now some red shirts can come back in defence. Angel now, but given away to Fife. And, it's not been his day so far, Ian Fife. He's given the ball away. And now Olympic are going to try again. Great ball through there by Sanchez. Oh, and again, Mullen's clearance went into a teammate. Campbeltown just cannot get out of their defence at the moment, but a free kick is going to relieve the pressure.
Just looking really under pressure, aren't they, Campbeltown? Every touch is just immediately closed down by City Olympic, who just harangue them. Matthew Mullen, who's playing central defence, is usually one of Campbeltown City's most competent and clinical players. He's given the ball away 2 times, slipped 3 times. Ian Fife, of course, gave the ball away for the goal. They're just under pressure, Campbeltown, and not exactly sure how what they're going to do.
Not exactly negligible names, Fife and Mullen,
Absolutely.
so you know they can play a lot better.
Here's Pavicevic looking for the overlap in Woodcock. Will he go there? He does. Riley Woodcock. Well tackled by Harvey, and that'll be a throw-in for Sydney Olympic on the near side, just in front of the Campbeltown bench. Here's Burgess. Very impressed with him in the number 10 spot. Woodcock. Pavicevic. Looking for a 3-ball to Arn, but that should be Harpus's. And it is. Harpus, the Campbeltown City goalkeeper. Really couldn't do anything for the goal, just watched it fly past him. Such was the strength it was hit with. Campbeltown now with Pictionary. Harvey. Can Campbeltown find something here just to bring them back into this game? Matt Mullen looking for a long option. And that's a wasted ball from Campbeltown City. Mark Marino furious with that. Don't blame him, really, because he's not going to enjoy long balls in the air against a player of Mackenzie's size. Talk about Mackenzie, here he is. Looking very composed as the centre-back. Arn. Back to Kalevsky. Whiteside. Sydney Olympic, again, patient in their build-up. Now they go the long switch. Pavicevic. Woodcock. Back to Pavicevic. And again, they'll restart again. City Olympic all the way back to Whiteside. Got to say, this is an excellent opening 20 minutes from the visitors. Here's Burgess. Great cut inside. But Pictionary's there. The referee's seen a foul there. Not sure there was a free kick there, but the referee has seen something. Tells Ian Fife, it was there, Ian. Step away. And Sydney Olympic have a free kick in a very, very dangerous position.
Sanchez is poised. Burgess is poised. Which way will they go? From that spot, really, it's right or left foot.
Well, it's interesting. We're looking like Arn might do the straight run up for a bit of strength, a bit of power. We got obviously the goal scorer Max Burgess lining up on the left, and number 14 is Sanchez on the right. So they've got options from every angle here, Olympic.
Sanchez leaves it for Burgess, straight at the keeper. And Campbeltown keep the deficit at 1-0. So Halliday now plays the ball through for Ture. Fife. Detroyer. It's back to Mullen. Tries to find Matsumoto, but it was well read there by Woodcock. And he's going to come up well. No, he's given away the throw in the end. But Matsumoto's down after that challenge. It was a fair challenge, but obviously I think he just probably took a little knock in the back there. And he's holding the lower part of his back, Matsumoto. As we mentioned, he scored the winner in the local grand final. It was 1-0. It was the only goal of the game, so would love it if he could pull one back. But Fife just putting a ball through. It might break kindly for him. He jumps through, and he's done really well to win that. Back to Mullen, back to Fife. He's not afraid to shoot, Ian Fife, even if he's a defender. Mullen, an unintentional 1-2. And now it's gone out, and Marino just couldn't control the ball. And Sydney Olympic are going to come up with it. But that's what Campbelltown needs. Need to be able to have the ball on their terms in attack a little bit more often. It's hardly happened at all so far in this game. And here's Sanchez again, expertly guided down to Arn. But well done there by Mullen, because what he's done is he's managed to win the ball and the throw. So now he's got it again, under pressure from 3 Olympic players. And in the end, Marino just decides that he's going to clear it all the way back out to the centre-back position and give Fife some time. Tries to play it through again, but that's just not good enough control there by Detroyer. It was a difficult ball, but it's broken kindly. Sydney Olympic are getting first to everything now. Toure is going to put Angel under pressure, but he's just going to clear it out. He's wearing a different number now. Quick throw of the ball with the substitute ball, but the only result there is going to be a goal kick to Sydney Olympic.
1-0 here at Steve Woodcock Sports Centre in favour of the visitors, Sydney Olympic, the premiers and champions of the New South Wales NPL. A great goal in the second minute from Max Burgess. Smacked it from about 20, 25 metres on his left foot. Went straight past the hapless Nick Harpus in the Campbelltown City goal. That's cleaned up by Mullen. Detroyer looking for the overlap of Halliday. But again, Sydney Olympic just too strong. The pressure, Burgess, been very impressive. That's his worst pass. Commentator's curse, of course. Matsumoto now with the ball for Campbelltown. Back to Fife. And again, turned over by Campbelltown City. They just cannot break down this Sydney Olympic team. And here's Sanchez. Can Sanchez get onto the ball? Fife showing his experience, though, and has got control of the ball in the far corner. Down the line, though, another dangerous ball. And Campbelltown with Detroyer just getting themselves composed with the ball at their feet, and a long clearance now. Mark Marino. That was Detroyer, I'm sorry. Matsumoto. Now Piscineri. It looks like Marino, in fact, has gone to the right side of the forward 3. Switch of play there from Toure, looking for Halliday. He's got onto it, has Halliday. The bounce hurt him, but he's done well to win a corner there for Campbelltown City, and that is their first corner. And up go the central defenders in Mullen and Fife. It looks like Matsumoto is the one who's going to go over and take the corner for Campbelltown City. Paul, what would you say the crowd is here? It's built up slowly over the last sort of half an hour or so, maybe a solid 400 or 500?
Definitely at least 5, I think. Hope some more. Great day for it. Not too many competing events today, so may still be a few people to come. Still early, 25th minute. Maybe if they're only 1-0 down, Campbelltown can get back.
Matsumoto swings it in. Can a Campbelltown player get onto it? Mullen does, but his header will go wide of the Sydney Olympic goal. And really no pressure there at all for the goalkeeper in Consoni. As you can see, clearly wide. Consoni now. Hasn't really been tested yet. Only that through ball that Marino almost latched onto.
Yeah, he did well there.
Woodcock. Heavy touch. Cut out by Mullen. But there's Arn. Pavicevic. Burgess. Great play. Sanchez. Looking for the overlap in Arn. There it is. Well closed down, though, by Harvey. Back to Pavicevic. He looks to swing it into the back post. Might have a little bit too much on it for Madonis. And it's gone out for a goal kick. And the Red Devils will be relieved with that, because that was excellent build-up play again from Sydney Olympic, who, Paul, to be honest, have been by far the better team in this first half of the first half, and deservedly are winning the game.
Certainly, but it is still just 1-0, so as long as that's the case, if Campbelltown can turn a bit of form around, they haven't been too bad in the last few minutes. They just need to get a bit more of a foothold on the game. And interesting challenge there. The ball more or less went over both players and was almost controlled from behind the back. Woodcock. Campbelltown closing down a little bit better, and well played there by Matsumoto, just a calm ball back to give Campbelltown control again. We're in the 27th minute. Campbelltown City 0, Sydney Olympic 1. The winner to place Lions FC in the final and will probably host the game. And at the moment, the winners are Sydney Olympic, and a very good tackle there, not to give away a foul by Detroit in that tackle on Sanchez, but now it has been given away. Oh, dear, and again, so here's Halliday on the ball. He's found a bit of room, and he's got Mullen in space in the middle. And Mullen's can he go for the shot? He's got Matsumoto if he wants him on the right. Matsumoto was just a little bit behind him. He had to check back. And he's beaten his player, and it's cut out in the end. And that's going to be a free kick to Mackenzie, who did very, very well to cut out Matsumoto's ball. It's good attack by the Japanese winger, but just couldn't get the ball back to one of his teammates. That's the threat that he poses, and that's where Campbelltown are going to want him to try to open up the Olympic defence. Now it's Detroit, he leaves it. Back now to Pictionary. Pictionary's held on to, and he's going to get the free. This is better from Campbelltown.
Much better.
Needed to get a bit of a foothold.
Much, much better. To be honest, and to be fair, it has been pretty much all one-way traffic for the first 30 or so minutes, but you're right, Paul. In the last couple minutes, Campbelltown City's starting to finally settle into their game plan. It's something that we spoke about before the game, Paul, didn't we? That Campbelltown City is a very well-disciplined and structured team, and they will wear their opponents down slowly. Yeah,
they're a unit. Not some great players, not what you'd call a star-studded team, though, but they definitely gel unbelievably well. A lot of these players have been ever-present or close to it this season. Detroit is going to chip it in, but there's too many blue shirts there. He's won it back, but again, it's going to be one away. And that's going to be a foul. No, yet the referee has given the foul for Sydney Olympic, and he might be pulling out a card here. No.
Bit of theatre from the referee. Definitely went to the pocket and then thought about it and said, it's too hot. Extra work, I don't need it.
Is that what counts as a warning these days, perhaps? Ball comes out to Mackenzie, more in a left-back position at the moment. He tries to put it forward. Here's Woodcock. He's lost out to Matsumoto. Great control. Matsumoto, though, not a good ball. He didn't have anyone in the centre-forward position. Marino was waiting for it on the right. Detroit was too deep. White side clears long. That's going to be Campbelltown's, though. It comes out to Harpus. These are very much, for those of you that don't follow South Australian game much, these are very much Campbelltown's greatest years. 3 championships in the last 6 seasons. And they've won only 4 in their history, so it really has been a great period for them. Matsumoto there. No free kick, the referee. A couple of the Campbelltown players wanted one. Mackenzie brings the ball away. And here's Burgess again, who's been terrific so far. Slips it through to Pavicevic. And good tackle in the end there by Mullen. And Campbelltown can come away through Detroit. Mullen again. Gets it to the other Mullen. But well won now. Here's Sanchez. He's dangerous in these situations. Good tackle. Fife timed it beautifully. And Campbelltown are going to be able to get it away through Harvey. Good touch there by Detroit. Here's Pictionary, and he's done really, really well as well to get it across to Halliday. This is better from Campbelltown. Halliday now has got Pictionary. But that, just as I say it, that's a really poor ball. There's no one anywhere near it.
Madonis will be absolutely furious with Sanchez. He's telling him now, he's saying, what were you doing? He had every opportunity to get the ball to an open Madonis on the far side, did Sanchez. Chose to go himself and was well tackled by Fife. But there was no Campbelltown player anywhere near the right winger. That would have been 2-0 if the ball had gotten over there. Not happy, the Sydney Olympic captain. Mackenzie now. To Woodcock. Kalevsky. Excellent composure from Sydney Olympic. Cleared by Consoni. That's a heavy touch from Detroit. Joe Mullen, the coach of Campbelltown City, threw his hands up in despair there just in front of us at that touch from Detroit because he knew that Consoni was out of position. And they've given away the free kick, have Campbelltown. That one's a welcome to South Australia tackle from from Detroit on Burgess, who really, that's the first time any Campbelltown players got anywhere near him, to be fair. But they did let him know about it. Kalevsky. Whiteside. Arn. To the overlapping Angel. Angel now. Swings it in on his left. Madonis. Gee, lucky there for Campbelltown. Mullen now. Dangerous ball to Matsumoto. But he's done well here, the Japanese player, to control the ball. It's probably gone out for a throw-in. Assistant referee has seen it, and that'll be a Sydney Olympic throw-in. Riley Woodcock. Burgess. Well tackled there by Matsumoto, but the referee's seen a free kick. Got to say, I thought there was 50-50, but getting the thumbs up from my co-commentator here, Paul, saying that was definitely a foul. So
I think the ref got it right.
Riley Woodcock's career, Paul, has been an interesting one. Of course, when he left Perth Glory for Sydney FC, a lot of Perth Glory fans were very disappointed because they strongly felt that he was a very talented individual who had a strong potential, but it just did not work out for him at Sydney FC. But watching him today, you can see why he was so strongly touted, been fantastic on this left-hand side. Burgess now. To swing it in with his left. That's a great ball. It's gone all the way to the back post. And, gee, Halliday did really, really well there with the bandage. That would have hurt a little bit with the knock. The cut he's got under that bandage, but he headed it out, and it'll be another corner now for Sydney Olympic. Their third of the match, and it'll be Arn on the far side to take it just under the scoreboard, which does read Sydney Olympic 1, Campbelltown City 0. The winner of this, of course, will play in the grand final, will more than likely host the grand final next week, and of course the winner of the grand final, an automatic spot in the round of 32 in the FFA Cup next year. Arn swinging that in, it's too short, and it's well cleared by Halliday, who's now wearing the number 12 shirt.
Into the 34th minute now. Game has settled a little bit. Bit chaotic for Campbelltown in the first 15 or 20 minutes. And I think even though they'll be disappointed that the scoreline is as it is, I think they'll be happy that they've managed to get a foothold on the game. But they have given away a corner now, which Max Burgess has come over to take. He's left it, and it's going to be taken by Arn in what is a very dark spot here with the shadows.
23 appearances this year for Jinya Arn for Sydney Olympic.
Comes in, that's a good ball. Oh, it was nearly the Sanchez, and Sydney Olympic still have a chance to shoot through Pavicevic, but it's come back out to Arn, and gee, that goal could have gone in. From where we were, it looked like it may well have been sneaking inside the post, but Harpus did really, really well to tip it around for another corner. That was another dangerous moment for Campbelltown, having difficulty clearing their lines. They really, really don't want to concede again at this stage of the game, because at 2-0 they will have an absolute mountain to climb, one even bigger than the beautiful hills we face here.
It's definitely almost going to sneak in that back post, Paul, that cross.
Sanchez is poised again. Well done, probably right on the bandage there of Halliday, and but he was brave. Now here's Matsumoto coming away with the ball, and he's done well there to give it to Detroit. In fact, he just put a little bit too much on it. That's going to be a throw-in for Sydney Olympic. They've been the better side, 1-0 ahead, and as things stand, they are hosting the grand final against Lions FC. But I wouldn't count out Campbelltown just yet. Such a resilient side, not beaten here on this pitch this season. But they are on the back foot. Here's Arn, and big of overlap by Woodcock, but it never got out to him. Now it gets out to Woodcock. Can he put a ball in for Sanchez and Burgess? It's deflected, and it's going to be brought away by Alex Mullen, but shot a bit ambitious by Kalevsky.
Well, he's won a corner.
It's gone for a corner.
Number 5 for Sydney Olympic, putting pressure on here right in the last 9 or so minutes of this first half. Madonis has been very impressive on the right side. In fact, it's hard to find any Sydney Olympic player who has not impressed us. They've been very, very good. Madonis swings it in. Another great cross. Harpus punches it out, only as far as Woodcock. Madonis again. Back to Riley Woodcock. Back to Madonis. Cuts the ball across the top of the box, but the ball's gone out. It would be a goal kick. Gee, Pavicevic probably didn't know that was a goal kick. He's probably thanking the referee that it was a goal kick, because that finish was
I don't think
different.
I don't think the neighbours will be thanking him because
There
that's
might be-
gone right into someone's backyard.
There might be a young boy or young girl who's
Gets
a
to kick
footballer.
the ball, yeah,
that's the ball.
absolutely.
So there you go. I'm not sure what they're going to do with the hole in it that Max Burgess left behind after his shot, but just a interesting break in play here. Okay, we're just realising that Halliday has had some blood seeping out from his cut, so he's coming off for more treatment again. Halliday, he's already borrowed the number 12 shirt from Joseph Kogoi, so I'm not sure if they need to take this one off or he's going to get
a lot
one.
of blood has come out of the bandage, so it's going to have to probably be rebandaged at the very least.
Kalevsky to Burgess, been very impressive at number 10 spot for Sydney Olympic. To Woodcock, of course, Campbelltown now playing with 10. Arn slipped over, but still tried to get the ball to Pavicevic. Here's Burgess, well blocked there by Fife. No handball, says the referee. Correct decision, hit him on the chest. And now Detroit are trying to break here for Campbelltown. Can he play the ball through for Marino? Can Marino get onto it? Well cleared by Consoni. And, gee, almost getting onto it, Marino. A lot of pace there. And that was one of Campbelltown's better moments, but it only came from a last desperation tackle from Ian Fife in defence. Burgess would be disappointed. He could have put Sydney Olympic 2-0 up there.
Detroit plays it out left. Campbelltown still with just 10 on the pitch at the moment while Halliday gets treatment. And had enough problems with 11 at times in this game, so they'll really want to get him back on the pitch very, very soon. There's Arn. It's also been very good so far. Appeal for handball, but I don't think there was any there.
Well, it's got to be intentional, doesn't it, Paul? And there was nothing intentional in that.
Well, I'm not even sure he even hit his arm, but we'll see. Arn.
Oh, it definitely
now,
hit his arm.
Did it?
Oh, definitely, 100%. But
yeah,
there's
your
no
eyesight's better
intention
than
there.
mine. Now Burgess again trying to get a ball into the box where he's got two teammates. It's not bad, but shot now,
Whoa.
just wide.
Madonis.
Oh, goodness me. That was a good attempt by Madonis. Maybe he thinks he should have done better, though. He did have the goal. I wouldn't say at his mercy, but probably on another day he would have scored.
He'd be disappointed to at least not force a save from Harpus. I think you're being very kind there, Paul. Really should have at least been on target. Didn't miss by much, but he had a lot of space and time. Probably should have at least forced a save from the keeper. But in the last sort of 5 or so minutes, Sydney Olympic really could have had at least a second, if not a third.
Campbelltown breathe again. But they're under pressure and they still are one player short. Now it's Mackenzie. Tall, lanky, hard to get past. He's been shown what a good player he is and why he was so highly rated by so many people. And still is, of course.
You can't see this, folks, but the fourth official must be very bored telling Joe Mullen to get back in his box. He's literally got one foot out of it.
White side. Everyone back for Campbelltown. Sydney Olympic have got time. Mackenzie. And good tackle in the end to take the ball away. And Campbelltown might be on the break here with Marino. But once again, Mackenzie has done brilliantly to stop him.
Deceptively quick, isn't he,
He
for
is.
such a tall player?
It doesn't look like he's moving that quickly, but he really, really is.
I suppose
Here's Woodcock.
one lunge for him is probably 3 for Mark Marino, so makes up a lot of ground. He's so tall, long legs. Halliday
Right
is
side.
back on now, sorry, Paul, for Campbelltown, just returning to the fray.
Madonis puts it out to the right-hand side, gets it back from Angel. Stay high, Mark, was the instruction from Joe Mullen, because he really is the furthest player forward, and at the moment Sydney Olympic are just knocking it around at the back at will. Now they've gone forward through Kalevsky, but Woodcock loses out there, Matsumoto loses out there, and now it's Pavicevic. Can he get a shot in? It just ran on a little bit too far, and Matsumoto's got it back. Now he looks at his options. Always looks like he's got a lot of time, and he's done really well to get the ball out wide. Now it's back in board with with Alex Mullen. Fife. Matthew Mullen. Harvey. Bit more space. Matsumoto just drifting in and out.
Just saw in that previous passage of attacking play for Sydney Olympic, Paul, that Campbelltown City literally had everybody in their back third. So
Yeah. That's the pressure.
they're trying to strangle them.
But now they've got a chance. And Marino's put the ball in. Coming in was Halliday at the back. But it's been cleared. It's gone over Pavicevic. And Mullen's going to be able to clear up. And that's a good ball there. But, Detroit let it run on. And it's been won there for Sydney Olympic very, very well by Kolevsky. And now the long ball for Sanchez. He hasn't got any company. Can he do it all by himself? In the end, it was a task too far. Great play there by Pictionary. Gets control of the ball and he's tackled from behind. Well, the referee saw nothing in it. He said that he pointed to the fact that the ball was won, and Woodcock brings the ball forward for Sydney Olympic. But that was a definitely clean win for Campbeltown by Mullen. And here's Mullen again. The other Mullen. Matthew. Long ball now, but again, they're not finding Marino, and Marino and his teammates are going to have to work out whether it's him that's not where they want him to be or the ball's not going where he wants them.
But those long balls in the air, I mean, 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, Mackenzie's just going to say thank you very much.
Burgess just clips one through there. He tries to get Sanchez to run on for it, but that's going to be Harpus's. We've got about 2.5 minutes left, plus whatever stoppage time is played in the first half.
I haven't seen anything to suggest that Mackenzie can't control the ball well at his feet and also win every single header that goes long. So they're going to have to find a way to get past him. That doesn't mean kicking the ball long in the air and hoping that Marino gets onto it. Matsumoto now in the corner. Great little turn there by Matsumoto. Cuts inside. He's on the byline. Can he get the right ball in? There it is. And that's 1-1 for Campbelltown City. That's against the run of play. Matsumoto did all the magic in the corner, turning his opponent in Woodcock. He squared the ball for Mark Marino, and his shot off a slight deflection goes in for the Red Devils, and that is 1-1 here at Steve Woodcock Reserve. And would you believe it, a half completely dominated by the visitors, but Campbelltown City right at the end of the first half getting the equaliser. Great work there by Matsumoto.
How good was Matsumoto there? He really, really did unbelievably well.
That makes up for the fact that he's wearing gloves on a 22-degree spring day in Adelaide. But what a move. And Campbelltown City from nowhere have equalised. If you're Sydney Olympic, you must now be thinking what a wasted half this has been, because really they should have been 2, 3, maybe even more out of sight. But Campbelltown City have defended strongly, stoically, and they will go into this half probably at 1-1. 1 minute to go.
Just such an awful time to concede with in the shadows of half-time. Long ball, Matsumoto, that's going to go over him. And now, well, they must be stunned, Sydney Olympic, because really on the run of play, they've undoubtedly been the better side, and they will be filthy going into the change rooms at half-time.
I don't think Joe Mullen's going to speak to me ever again, Paul. I think he just heard me saying that Sydney Olympic will be disappointed that they're not 3 or 4 up. He turned around and gave me a bit of a look.
He's a good guy, Joe. I think he'll be right. Great control there, comes out to Max Burgess now, but well read there by Matthew Mullen now, and he's got Marino ahead of him. That's not a bad ball, but
that was a great ball.
Well done, Consoni. Again, it's not the first time he's come off his line really, really well. Whiteside now, and just suddenly, there've been a couple of little moments for Sydney Olympic of nerves and panic. Madonis now tries to put through Max Burgess. Now they're on the counter-attack. We've got 3 minutes extra to play, so there's time. Madonis now, and Whiteside, and it's hit the post, it's hit the crossbar. Goodness me, Sydney Olympic still with another chance, and it's put wide there by Sanchez. It was Arn who hit the crossbar. Initially I thought that was in. And Campbelltown breathe again. 1-1 remains the score.
Here we were thinking, Paul, that we were just going to cruise into half-time and have a nice glass of water, but it's all just happened. 1-1, and really Sydney Olympic hitting the bar there. Arn should have done better, and to be fair, Pavicevic again, though his shot on the turn was probably hard, so to be fair, he did well to get it even close to goal. But
well, I'll tell you who this isn't helping at the moment, and that's Lions FC, because you get more points for scoring a goal than you lose for conceding them on the points system, and Sydney Olympic are now on 7, and that's without taking into account that they'd get extra if they win, and Lions FC are on 8. So, and Campbelltown's up to 16. So it's going to be very, very difficult for the final to be hosted in Queensland the way things are looking now. Here's Arn.
So either way, Paul, just on that point, the winner here today will probably host the grand final.
Probably that will be the case. Arn now tries to get the ball in. They're going to have a corner just before the end of the first half.
It's number 6, corner number 6, Paul.
Yeah, I think Campbelltown's only had one.
One, I'm pretty sure. Matsumoto took on the far side.
Yeah. Haven't made any of them pay yet, although they've come incredibly close. And the central defender, there's only one Sydney Olympic player back, so they're going for it. Can see Arn's moved to the back. Ball in, it's shallow though, and Halliday gets it away, and Campbelltown are going to be able to get out of danger. And Detroit has done really, really well. He's all by himself, but he's managed to run away and find himself some space. Marino's done well to get in. Detroit has done really well here, and except until he played the ball out for for Alex Mullen, I should say, and it was too much on it, and Sydney Olympic come up with the ball. So now it's Arn Pavicevic. He's tried to loop it over for, now, great control there by Madonis. It definitely wasn't handball. Sanchez, and he tries to keep it in, but that was well read in the end by Harvey. And Sydney Olympic might have time for, it's going to be a throw-in, I think. It's not going to be a corner, but they'll definitely try, I think, the way they've been showing their attacking intent of late to swing the ball into the area. Well, they're risking the clock running down because they're waiting for Woodcock to come and take the throw and try to get the 1-2 and put the ball in. But the pressure's relieved. Another chance. Well intercepted. Now it's come out to Marino again. He just hooks it as far away as he can, knowing that the whistle was coming. And at half-time in this National Premier League semi-final between Campbelltown City and Sydney Olympic, the score is Campbelltown City 1, Sydney Olympic 1. Max Burgess, just as we were still getting settled into our seats, opened the scoring for Sydney Olympic. But in the shadows of half-time, some terrific work by Yohei Matsumoto on the right-hand side gave Mark Marino the opportunity to equalise, and he took it. 1-1 the score.
What do you make of that first half, Paul? For what it's worth, and in my perspective, I think Sydney Olympic will look back on that as a half of missed opportunities. They could have and probably should have scored at least one more, if not two more, and probably buried this game. But our game is based solely on one thing, and that's taking your chances. And Campbelltown City have done that, and they go into this break at 1-1 Campbelltown City. Probably a bit fortunate to be 1-1.
Yeah, I think they are quite fortunate to be 1-1. I think they've definitely got more of a foothold in the second half. They were making some uncharacteristic mistakes in the first 20 minutes. They were really under pressure by this very, very well-drilled and very quick attacking Sydney Olympic side. I'm really impressed by the speed with which they can transition out from the back and get the ball forward. And Campbelltown weren't coping early on. They did settle a bit, but they're flattered being in at 1-1 at half-time. I don't think there's any doubt about that. If
you're the coach of Sydney Olympic, Abbas Saad, what are you telling your Chargers after conceding so late in that first half, after dominating for so long? Do you tell them, Paul, same again, guys, it'll come? Or do you look to tinker just a little bit to get that
No, I wouldn't be tinkering at this stage. I wouldn't be tinkering at this stage because I don't think tinkering is going to change that. There are a couple of golden opportunities that were missed. The system created those opportunities, and I wouldn't be messing with the system right now if I were Abbasad. But perhaps later on in the half, depending on how it unfolds, well then he might be looking at tactical substitutions.
We're going to take a small break here on our coverage of this semi-final in the NPL final series between Campbelltown City and Sydney Olympic, and come back for the second half very soon. The score is Campbelltown City 1, their goal scorer Mark Marino in the 43rd minute. Sydney Olympic 1, their goal scorer Max Burgess in the 2nd minute. Small break, and we'll be back with the second half very soon.
Welcome back to the live stream of National Premier League semi-final between Campbeltown City and Sydney Olympic, coming to you from Steve Woodcock Sports Centre here in Newton, in the city of Campbeltown, in Adelaide's east, in the foothills. Fantastic day. Some of the shadows are starting to lengthen across the sides of the pitch as we get further into the afternoon at this terrific venue. Actually once hosted an NSL game, Spiro. Back in 1990.
I didn't know that, Paul.
Yeah, Adelaide City. Hindmarsh mustn't have been ready. It was early in the season, and it was between Adelaide City and Wollongong, Macedonia, and it was Wollongong, Macedonia's only NSL season. And if your next question was Joe Mullen playing for Adelaide City in that game?
Paul, was Joe Mullen playing for Adelaide City in that game, Paul?
Absolutely was.
He was. I had no idea this hosted an NSL game.
It certainly did. It was very crammed. I was standing on the side that we're facing, the Stradbroke Road side, which is where the main entrance to this terrific suburban ground is. And it's a great place for this match between Campbeltown City, the home team, and Sydney Olympic. We're getting ready to kick off the second half. It's 1-1. Sydney Olympic will be pretty filthy that they're not leading.
Olympic have made a change at half-time. Sanchez has come off, and it's Tatalios who's gone to left wing with Pavicevic moving into a central role. And we kicked off here in the second half with the score at 1-1. There's Pavicevic there, chesting it beautifully down to Burgess. He almost got Tatalios straight into the action with a great through ball, but Mullen has got the ball to Piscineri. Actually, it looks like Campbeltown may have made a change too. We'll just have a look at that in a second. No, it was Toure that's played that ball back to Mullen. Long ball looking for Matsumoto. And he's been the one player I think Campbeltown can say they've found an outlet through. He's been really good on that right wing. Not like he's really given Riley Woodcock a bath, Paul, but on the balance of play in that first half, he was the one player that Campbeltown did get some success out of. He
also was really good at drifting in field. I'll just let that go because we might have an attack here. No, Sydney Olympic have come up with the ball, but not in a threatening position. He was also really good when he was drifting in field, I thought, and just making some changes to the setup and the angles of attack. Now Campbeltown are coming forward, and chance here for Mullen. He puts it on the overlap for Halliday. Halliday, it's really well defended in the end, and Sydney Olympic are going to be able to clear well here. But one again, Mullen wants to get the ball back from Halliday, and he does. And Campbeltown have started well, Mullen in particular. Alex Mullen's still going, just a bit of confusion between him and Toure. And the moment was lost. Unfortunately for Halliday, he was sort of caught in two minds as to whether to control the ball or let it go. And in the end, he's given away a throw.
I didn't think Sanchez was that bad in the first half for Sydney.
I just wonder if he's taken a knock or something, because I just can't imagine that he'd come off given the kind of remarkable goal scoring record that he's got.
21 goals from 24 matches in the league so far for this season for Sanchez, and he scored 2 goals in their grand final win against APL Leichhardt. So you'd think that it's an injury because he looked potent in that first half.
No, he certainly did, as did the player who nearly received that ball, Max Burgess. Probably the best player in the first half in this match.
I suppose when you've got a player like Nick Tatalios sitting on the bench too, it's not a bad option to bring on former Sydney FC and Wellington player, and Pavicevic, who's now leading the line, of course, another A-League player.
Alex Mullen. Ball out to Toure. Campbeltown have come out with a bit of intent in this half. They look better already, but under a lot of pressure. Toure's done really well, but in the end, the weight of numbers is going to tell against him, and he's given away a foul to Madonis. The Sydney Olympic will get the relieving free kick.
Marino absolutely furious with Toure for not giving that ball a bit earlier. Can't say I blame him.
Yeah.
He would have been through if he'd gotten the right ball. We would have put him through. Here's Consoni. Switches it on the far side. McKenzie. Angel. Sorry, that was Woodcock. Piscineri. Matsumoto. Always looking dangerous is Matsumoto. Charging. Into the box. He's fouled. Referee allows the ball to go on. That was clearly a foul. The referee did not see it. McKenzie pulled back Matsumoto as he charged past him. And Sydney Olympic have dodged one there. Not sure how the referee missed it. Looked pretty clear. But here's Angel. Down the line to Madonis. White side now to Mackenzie. White side.
Arn's also been very fluid in this game. It's great movement throughout the pitch.
And that's a free kick for Campbelltown City. Halliday was fouled there by Pavicevic. And will be in Fife to take the relieving free kick.
Good numbers there in the club rooms at the southern side of this ground. Great facility here.
Burgess. If you do one thing this week is make sure you check out Max Burgess's goal on any replay you can find it. Quality goal in any league, anywhere in the world. Great touch there by Toure. Probably even too good for his teammate in Piscineri, who wasn't expecting it. And Sydney Olympic with a throw-in just in front of us here in the commentary stand. Better start here to the second half from Campbelltown City. And it'll be Halliday to take the throw-in now for the Red Devils. Down the line, Toure. Piscineri. Halliday. Down the line, Marino, the goal scorer. Well tackled by Whiteside. Mark Marino, former A-League player himself. Melbourne City and Adelaide United. There's no handball there. Campbelltown City getting excited. Now it's with Mullen. Detroyer. He's about 40 yards out.
Not a bad effort.
Not a bad effort, but it's wide. Safely wide in the end for Consoni. Nothing to worry about. But much, much better start here from Campbelltown City than their first half. And for a change, Sydney Olympic looking like they're on the back foot.
They are, but they've got the ball now through Arn. And he turns and tries to get it up the wing now for Satalios. But he's lost out. Campbelltown are much better in this half. Here's Matsumoto. He plays it inboard for Piscineri. Marino keeps control of the ball. He's done well there, Marino, to turn and hold it up. But he's got lots of blue shirts in front of him. And then he's come out wide to find Toure. Toure and Halliday. Halliday comes inside one. Doesn't want to use his right. And in the end, he brings it all the way back out to Mullen. That's Alex Mullen. I'm sure I've got them the wrong way around 2 or 3 times so far. But he comes back up with the ball. Harvey. So too long. I'm not sure if he was after Matsumoto or not, but there was too much on the ball in the end. And Consoni have time to bring it forward. Bright start to the second half by Campbelltown. And maybe, just maybe, they've gotten better as the match has worn on. They certainly probably were fortunate to be level at half-time, having copped a lot of chances. Here's Max Burgess, one of the players that was undoing them. Great overlapping run there by Arn. Now, can Arn get a good ball in? There's numbers in the box for Sydney Olympic if he can. But that wasn't the delivery. It's going to be a free kick, but I really have loved the way that Arn has floated around the pitch. He's gone through both sides, left and right. He sort of started in a bit of a sort of number 6 type role, but has definitely been making sure that his Campbelltown opponents have had to keep reshuffling, handing players over to keep track of him. He's playing really well. Harpus, nice and long, and well won there by Mackenzie. But Campbelltown are going to come up with it. And, tackle in the end is going to be a foul by Mackenzie that time. Have been very impressed with him though. Campbelltown get on with it. They're clearly trying to get some momentum at the moment. Mullen again. Can he get the 1-2 with Marino? He does. Out to Toure. This is good play. Toure now. Can he beat a player and get a ball in? No. Well held up in the end, but he's got a ball in at the end. And the back post. Oh, and Mullen tried to get the shot in. It was blocked. And in the end, Matsumoto wide. But Detroit was too unselfish there. I thought he could have just gone straight to goal. He did the unselfish thing. He did the team thing. He went back to Mullen, but surely he was in a better position to just go straight for goal.
Yeah, absolutely. As we can see now, Paul, he had all the time and space at that back post. Tried to do the team thing, knocked it back for Mullen. His shot was well blocked.
Or maybe just to be fair to him, it was coming maybe just a bit higher than he would have liked for a direct header, but certainly felt like it was on.
Here's Mullen. Piscineri, won by Arn. Here's Pavicevic. Pavicevic plays it through to Madonis. Madonis inside the box. Can he get the right ball for Sydney Olympic? Looking for an option is Madonis. But that has gone for a corner. And it'll be the 7th corner for Sydney Olympic. That was good build-up play there by the visitors. And it'll be Arn to go over and take this corner kick for Olympic. Of course, premiers and champions in the New South Wales NPL. A team laden with talent. It's not often you say that a team, an away team, is favourites, but based on ability alone, you'd have to say they came in favourites today. Here's Arn. Goes to the near post, cleared by Halliday, who's won every single header from a corner.
Since he had a bandage on.
Since he put a bandage on. And he's going to win another one here. Gee, that's courageous. Well done by Halliday. Bit of aerial ping pong. Now it's on the ground with Matsumoto. Matsumoto to Marino. Marino, great touch to Detroyer. Detroyer now down the left-hand side. Looks for an option inside. Can he find a Campbeltown player? It's well cleared in the end by Olympic, but it's fallen now to Campbeltown City. Marino has a shot. Here's Detroyer. Great save. What a save, but Matsumoto still with a chance. Matsumoto, what can he do? Gives it to Marino. Cuts back out. The opportunity may now be gone for Campbeltown. Matsumoto. And they played it all the way back out. What a passage of play there.
Don't know how it stayed out in the end.
Don't know. Here's Mullen looking for an option. Plays it inside. Wasn't a bad idea. Just didn't have quite the execution. What a passage of play that was. Campbeltown City could have had their second goal. But in the end, Consoni with a great save, keeping Sydney Olympic at 1-1. Long clearance, only as far as Matthew Mullen. Tatalios now, the substitute, just inside his own half. Whiteside. Madonis, back to Whiteside. Swings it in. That's a good ball. Interesting choice there by Harvey to let it run, but in the end, Tatalios backing off. Matsumoto. Sydney Olympic preparing a change, not surprised. It'll be number 19, Burgess, to come on in a second. That's the other Burgess. They're brothers. Will be with us in a second. Pictionary to Mullen, who's really injected himself into this game in the second half, and you can see the difference that he brings when he's dominating. Ian Fife gives another one away. And here go Sydney Olympic, but there's Mullen covering really well. Turns Pavicevic beautifully, and then Burgess too. And then a nice little pass to Pictionary. Pictionary with a nutmeg on Madonis. But that poor pass lets them down, and that'll be a free kick advantage given by the referee. Correct call. Whiteside stays down. Tatalios now. Nick Tatalios plays inside to Pavicevic. Well covered by Harvey. The game has picked up. The intensity's picked up. Mullen, great switch. Marino on the far side, but just a little bit too much on it.
You
no,
called
in fact,
it.
the referee has seen it as an offside, the assistant referee. And yellow card also for number 10, Detroit, for that late change on challenge on Whiteside. There'll be another change now for Sydney Olympic, and it'll be number 6, Kolevsky, coming off, the youth international for Macedonia, to be replaced by number 19, and that's Burgess. That is Darcy Burgess, the brother of the goal scorer, Max Burgess.
So now Sydney Olympic. Oh, they're just delaying the restart for a moment. Whiteside now. Onto the right, and even though that player has Dimitri on his shirt, that is Angel, who's had to change his shirt after some blood poured on it before. Finds Arn in the middle. Liked his game. Arn back to Angel. Comes in board. Good pressure though by Toure. It's going to come out to Mullen. Pictionary controlled it well. Toure, ref plays an advantage. Well done. Marino. He's trying to hook it over there, but he didn't get a good connection with that at all. And Whiteside is going to play it out to McKenzie. But, oh dear.
First bad
pass.
Well,
that's probably the first mistake McKenzie's made. He's had a terrific game in defence for Sydney Olympic. But maybe just reflects the changing nature of this game,
absolutely.
Which, you know, earlier on you would have said Sydney Olympic was surely looking like the winners, but Campbelltown really have come back and made it for a real contest. It's 1-1, and you'd have to say Campbelltown's edged this second half. Arn couldn't get through there against Piscineri, who's done well, but he's given it back to Arn. And good pressure, though. He's done really well there against Angel. But ball's come out now. Good long ball there for Pavicevic. And he's done really well to get it to the overlap in Woodcock. Woodcock now, he's got a couple in front of him with Satalios. And he's beaten, though, and Matsumoto's going to come up with it. Great ball in board, and Touré's got an absolute ton of space. He's got heaps of time to play it out to the overlapping Halliday. Halliday now, he's got a couple in the middle, one of which is Marino. That's where it goes over the top, looking for Detroyer. Well done, Consoni, and he's been really good at getting off his line, Consoni. He's been alive to every situation, and he's got the ball. There's certainly nothing he could do about the goal that Sydney Olympic conceded. And now it's Demetriou getting it back in board to Whiteside.
Demetriou, of course, isn't playing, Paul. That's Angel.
Angel. I've done it again. It's a bit of confusion for us out there.
Angel had to change his
top. Has changed his top for blood.
Yeah. Of course, the player Demetriou, James Demetriou, is a former Swansea player. Of course, only just returned from the Welsh Premier League.
Yeah,
Not that Swansea play there, of course, but
he actually left Australia to join the greatest football club in the world, Spiro, Nottingham Forest.
I thought you were going to say Blackburn Rovers, Paul.
Here's Max Burgess. He gets the ball onto Madonis. Wants to get it out wide, but it's still very good pressure by Campbeltown. They've got the numbers in the box, and Mullen's just starting to have a real influence on this game. Well, not even starting, continuing to have a real influence on this game, both in defence and attack. Here's Whiteside now. Gets it back to his partner in crime in Mackenzie. Back out to Woodcock. Bit of ebb and flow now in this game.
Just trying to find their feet, aren't they, here, Sydney Olympic? They dominated that first half, but it's been all Campbeltown this second half. They're just trying to re-establish themselves. Campbeltown looking like they're about to make a change too.
Arn. Back out to Mackenzie. We can all just catch our breath a little bit at the moment. Woodcock. Good ball in board for Burgess. Back out wide. Can we get a cross in now? Well tracked back there by Campbeltown, by Matsumoto again. And Darcy Burgess trying to hold on to it, but nowhere for him to go. Going to come up with it with Arn again. Arn back down the left wing. Good run, but alive to it there was Matthew Mullen. And chance to get out. Alex Mullen. Good composure there by Campbeltown. And Mark Marino's given his opponent the slip there. He's got a player on if he could get over to Touré, and he nearly got there. Oh, and he's limping. And he's actually signalled to the bench. Mark Marino
coming straight off.
Might be coming straight off, and he's gone down. Well, that's a shame for Campbeltown. It looks like his day's done by his body language. While that's going on, a long ball by Sydney Olympic has come out to the keeper and in Harpus, and he's thrown it straight out so that Marino can get attended to. And Thomas Viet right in front of us is getting ready to come on to replace him, but Marino's day's done. And he knew it straight away, unfortunately.
It's a calf. He looked straight at the bench and he gave the signal that he's torn his calf. Not really that surprising, Paul. He's been running backwards and forwards. Even early in this second half, his coach, Joe Mullen, has been pushing him. Come on, Mark. Get forward. Get back. Really wanting to doing a lot of the grunt work.
He did come back from injury, though, to play this game. And, that's often what happens. There's no real tomorrow here. I mean, sure, there's a grand final coming up, but not if you don't win today.
You can just see him being taken off now.
Yeah.
Has not...
needs to be helped off.
Has not even said to the trainer, maybe I can keep playing. He pointed straight to the bench and said, get me off right away. So Campbeltown City are forced to make a substitution. Number 19, young Thomas Viet has mostly played in the reserves team this season, though his assistant coach, the assistant coach for Campbeltown City, Vas Parhas, speaking to us earlier today on a radio show that we do, said that he's one to look out for, and they're really excited to be giving him an opportunity to play first team in this NPL final series. So we're interested to see how young Thomas Viet plays. Of course, a very famous surname here too, Paul.
Yes, indeed. And people watching from interstate must think there's only a handful of families here with Mullins and Vierts and Murrays and all sorts of famous names that have got more than one famous player.
I'm pretty sure there's a Taladera floating around at Campbeltown too, but of course
this is also a club that had about three players and coaches surnamed Aloisi as well, so very much keeping it in the family here at Campbeltown.
There's no Marcachettis or Karanikos Mimosas floating around at Campbeltown, are there?
No, probably lack of talent there.
Long ball from Harpus, the goalkeeper. Mullen tries to win that. Here's young Viet. Good first touch from the youngster Piscineri to Mullen. To Fife, who by his standards probably a bit disappointed with his game. De Troyer to Piscineri, done really well Piscineri, looking for an option. He's found that in Toure. Now Halliday tries to swing it in. Won a corner, good play there from Campbeltown City, acknowledged by the bench. They were very happy with that.
This is what you've seen a lot from Campbeltown though this season, and you know, for people that haven't been watching the South Australian League and are tuning in from interstate, you know, they are a feisty team. They are a team that doesn't know when it's beaten. You know, and they've shown it again. You know, they had no right to still be in the game after about half an hour, but 1-1, and suddenly they're looking the better side.
Matsumoto, score is 1-1. Of course, just about to tick over into the 21st minute mark of this second half. Matsumoto, the danger player, set up the goal, swings it in. Can he find a player? Too much for Mullen and Darcy Burgess. Plays it back to Woodcock, who will clear for Olympic. Done well there, Pavicevic, but Mullen involved in everything. That's why he's won Player of the Year a couple times, Mullen. What a player he is. Did really well to get back into the play. But Olympic now with Arn. Great little turn. Sold young Viet. Enough candy to keep him happy till Christmas. Madonis. Angel. Marauding down the right-hand side is Angel.
Matsumoto's just everywhere.
He is. Matsumoto, he's done really well there to win a foul for Campbeltown City. He's playing right wing and he found himself a left back.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something magical in those gloves, Paul. I
well,
don't know.
his ability to cover every blade of grass is absolutely phenomenal.
Just a small break in play here. The referee just checking on Tatalios. Took a little bit of a knock, looks like to the upper lip or the nose. Just checking for some blood, but there's nothing there. The referee says, let's keep going, guys. Down the line is Ian Fife. Trying to find an option. That's Mullen, but he was easily beaten to the header. And here's Woodcock now. Abassad yelling, go Riley. Plays it inside to Talios. Trying to get back on his left. He's found Woodcock again. Swings it in. Burgess. It's a tame header in the end. No trouble there for Harpus. But that's how quickly Sydney Olympic can break and make something out of nothing. In the end, we just see his body shape was all the wrong way there, young Burgess, and the header would have taken a lot to even get it on target, comfortably wide.
We're in the 67th minute. Campbeltown City 1, Sydney Olympic 1. Terrific match. National Premier League semi-final. Winner to face Lions FC in the final next weekend. Ball comes out to Viet, fresh on the field. Alex Mullen. He's been really influential in this second half.
Just halfway through this second half, Paul, might be a good time to mention a couple things that you might like to know about. If this game does go to extra time, both teams will be permitted a fourth substitution, of course, and the decider will be penalties if required.
We're not way away from that yet.
Just thought I'd throw it in there.
Yeah, but at this stage, and of course the other thing that we have to keep an eye on is who will be hosting the final. The winner here is looking pretty likely to host the final because of the point situation that is applied whenever there's a goal or a card scored or conceded. And at this stage, Campbeltown are definitely in the final if they win, and Sydney Olympic probably in the final if they win. That ball there's too long, and Harpus is going to come up with it. Here in Campbeltown, it's a beautiful day. Shadows in front of us of the trees just starting to lengthen. Long kick, it's too long. It's going to go straight to the other keeper. Been really impressed with Consoni, particularly in the way that he's sprinted off his line when he's needed to. He's got it right every single time. Good tackle there by Thomas Beard. It was fair too, and Campbelltown. Well,
it was always a foul.
In the end, it was deemed a foul.
Yeah.
The referee was just letting it go to see where the ball might end up. But when it didn't come up Sydney Olympics' way, he did in the end blow the foul, which is going to be a free kick taken by Whiteside. He switches it over to Mackenzie. Mackenzie now buys himself a little bit of space. Not a huge amount of movement ahead of him. So in the end, he goes out to the left wing where Satalios has done really well. But ball's won back by Campbelltown. Now, pace has been pretty high in this half. Here's Piscineri. He's been good in this half too. Comes out to Halliday. And his ball was very, very hot for Ture. And he's going to try to come back up with it, Campbelltown, through Piscineri, but they've lost it now. Now here's Pavicevic. He's got no one in the middle, really, so he tries to play it through for Max Burgess, and he's won a corner.
Local's not happy.
No. But just watching the replay in the end.
Clear corner.
He took a bit of it. Maybe they're a bit upset that he took a bit of a tumble in the end and maybe thought it might have been just a little bit overdone, but I don't think there's any question that it was going to be a corner. So Arne's gone over to retrieve the balls, had to play ball retriever himself.
We have bad experiences here in South Australia with ball boys, so we try and avoid it now.
8 players either in or just outside the box for Sydney Olympic. It's very shallow, and chance now for Madonis, but it's been won by Campbelltown. Here's Halliday, he's fallen over, and well done in the end by Mullen. And can he get the ball away? He tries to keep control. He's tried to do a bit too much in the end. He's crashed into Abassad, who just helps him up. That was good. So now it's the younger Burgess. He leaves it for James. James now. Good ball in for Pavicevic, but he's raised the foot very, very high there, and he's already a long way taller than Matsumoto, who didn't appreciate it at all. And it's going to be a free kick to Campbelltown.
Looks like Piscineri is going to take this one for the Red Devils. To Mullen. There's Harvey. Been pretty impressive, young Harvey. It's the right back for Campbelltown City. Ian Fife. Played for Sydney Olympic. Piscineri. Ture. Great play here. Back to Halliday. Halliday inside the box to Young Viet. What will Young Viet do? He lays it across the box. Detroyer. Heavy touch, unfortunately. Can he regain his composure? Sydney Olympic have dropped back. Detroyer across the box. Young Viet. It's gone through his legs. And Mackenzie has cleared it. Another opportunity goes begging for Campbelltown City. Matsumoto plays it all the way back to Fife. Looks to swing it in, but that should be Consoni's, and it is. Fife turns his head in disgust with that ball. He was not happy with the delivery. But another good opportunity there for Campbelltown. Unfortunately for Detroit, his touch was a little bit heavy, took him too wide, and Sydney Olympic got back in numbers and prevented any potential shot on target. But another warning sign for the visitors. The old adage, game of two halves, and that's definitely what it is today. All Sydney Olympic in the first half. This is Campbelltown's half so far. Mackenzie now. To Woodcock. Whiteside. Ignores the option of Burgess short and tries to go for Max Burgess long. Too much on it though. And Campbelltown City quickly take the throw in, and it's Matsumoto. He's giving it away though. And here comes Arne. Pavicevic, great little touch, unlucky for Sydney Olympic. It did not fall to Madonis. It's picked up though by Arne. He's decided to let that run for a throw in. Quickly taken to Woodcock. Quick 1-2. Arne and Woodcock passing the ball to themselves. Here's Burgess, the goal scorer. Closed down by Matsumoto. 1-2 there. Matsumoto gets in the way, and that'll be another corner for Sydney Olympic. They're pushing 10. I think that's either 9 or 10, but they've had ample opportunities from corners, have Sydney Olympic unable to really make the best of any, except for that one in the first half, possibly, where Mackenzie got in front of Harpus but his header went wide. But other than that, they haven't really been able to deliver a decent ball in from one of these corners that they've had.
They've got the tall timber up again, not surprisingly. Here it comes in. That's a better delivery. And well done, Harpus. He took absolutely no chances there, made it his. And now he's given a one-on-one to his counterpart there in Detroit. But it's only going to be a throw. And Sydney Olympic have the chance to get players back. Here's Toure. Needs help. He's won a corner as well. So just as quickly as we had a corner at one end, we've got one at the other. And we've suddenly, this game has absolutely flown by. We're only closing in on about 16 minutes left with whatever stoppage time the referees are going to add. Matsumoto is going to come back and try to whip one in. Campbeltown haven't been putting quite as many players forward for their corners as Sydney have. But if Matsumoto gets the right delivery, you know that there's a few targets. It might not have been Ian Fife's game, but it's gone short in the end. But a good opportunity to whip it in at the back post. Players gone down, nothing doing, says the ref. Here's Detroit and Max Burgess, the two number 10s in battle. It's still in. Detroit's got his back to the ball. Good battle there. And Campbeltown are going to have to clean it all the way out. Oh, no. That's a really good right. Now Sydney Olympic are on here. They've got about 3-on-2, and they've got one player all on his own on the left-hand side. And that's the number 10 in Burgess again. He's got a chance to shoot! Straight at the keeper, Harpus. And after a little bit of a spill, which just caught Satalios' attention, Harpus comes back up with the ball well. Not sure if that was the best option there for Burgess, because Sydney Olympic had some players forward. Yeah. They had an extra man.
They broke with a 3-on-2, as you correctly called, Paul, and then all of a sudden it was 4-on-2. Maybe Burgess should have played the simple pass across the box. Got to say also, Paul, just taking it a step back before that, I thought Ian Fife had a really good claim for a penalty. He seemed like he was held. Referee said nothing doing. Maybe if more of his teammates had appealed for it, might have made a bit of a difference. He was definitely held. Madonis did well there.
Fife won that one.
Yeah, did well to win it back, Fife. 36-year-old.
Now,
that's
well
Angel.
Done, Pavicevic.
Angel,
sorry. And ball's gone out to the left-hand side, and Toure's done really well there, but he's going to have to give up possession to Woodcock. And he brings it in for Burgess. To Burgess. The two Burgesses combine. Madonis. He's got an overlap on his right. That's a good ball for Angel. Angel now. Gets in the ball on the left foot, but it's way too far. Campbeltown are going to get the relieving goal kick.
Wasn't a bad ball there by Angel, but just no one at the back post really to give him an option. Matsumoto just coming to the sidelines here. Not surprised he wants a bit of water.
Yeah, absolutely. Sydney Olympic, trying to get themselves back into the sort of form they were in earlier in this game. They really did start like a house on fire, but it's a much more even battle now.
Harpus takes the goal kick for Campbeltown. Gets good purchase on it, but Mackenzie. When you're 7 foot tall, Paul, and I don't know what that feels like, you can just win anything, really. What is he?
Not quite sure he's that tall, but he's pretty tall.
6'6", 6'7"?
Yeah, I reckon he might be around the 6'6", mark.
Detroit. Quick 1-2 there, and it's Campbeltown's done really well. It's Detroit now. Can he find Viet? Looks for Viet. Well defended by Whiteside. Mullen. Great flick. Still Mullen. But that's cleared by the captain in Madonis. Campbeltown City come back again, though. Pictionary. Burgess gets in the way. Slows it down, does Burgess. Finds his brother. And now it's Woodcock. Inside. Pavicevic. And here goes Campbeltown. They got a break. Mackenzie. I just want to pause there to see what the referee thought happened there, because it looked to me like the Campbeltown City player was very late on Mackenzie, but referee said nothing doing, just gave a throw in and game on. Crowd figure here is 776, a fantastic result. Thank you so much for all your support. If you've come to the ground and might be listening to us through the National Premier League's website or on Facebook. Thank you so much for your support and supporting our game. And to all the people watching out there, thank you for joining us. Detroyer looking for Toure. He's overstepped at Toure. Joe Mullen throws his hands up in despair. Here's McKenzie. Darcy Burgess. Riley Woodcock. That's a tired pass from Riley Woodcock. Mullen's gone for an audacious chip. Was worth an effort.
Well, the keeper was definitely just off his line.
Just for a moment there, it looked like, sorry, Paul, just for a moment, it looked like maybe, just maybe, he got good purchase on it. But in the end, too much. But you don't buy a ticket.
No. Just 11 minutes of normal time left, and then whatever stoppage time is played, 1-1. Start to wonder if we're starting to get into that zone where the next goal might just win it. But Campbeltown have really done well in this half. Detroyer. There's been no score, of course, since half-time, and that's what really matters. But they've certainly done better in play. But now Sydney Olympic are in attack with Max Burgess, and he played a bad ball and really tried to milk a free kick there, and the crowd, I think, has just let him know it, that no one fell for that. Oh dear, though, Campbeltown have turned it over in a dangerous position, and Max Burgess has got it back. He's getting the Bronx, as you can probably hear, and he's just trying to find somewhere to find an outlet, and he's done that now through Darcy Burgess.
He's had such a good game, Max Burgess. That just wasn't necessary.
No. Darcy Burgess gets the ball back. Can he put a good ball in? Max Burgess tries to sort of just chip it through, but the Campbeltown defence were alive to it. And here's Thomas Veert. He holds up the ball, and good challenge there by McKenzie. And then it's well won there as well by Max Burgess, who's having a big few minutes. Max Burgess really wants to pull the strings. Ball in there for Pavicevic, and I think he might have been just a bit distracted by his own teammate there as he tried to put that shot in, and it never really looked like it was going from the moment it left the foot.
Just get a feeling, a few loose passes in the last couple of minutes, Paul.
It's been a long season. Players probably getting a bit tired. Yeah,
warm, very warm today in that first half. The sun's pretty much set behind us now, so it's much cooler now. But the players are looking tired and some real sloppy play. But it's danger time for both teams in these moments because tiredness is the one factor that can cost you at any level. Indeed,
and if we play extra time, well, that could be that could make things really interesting. Of course, another sub is available. There's still plenty of subs available for both teams. So if we do start to see the need for fresh legs out there, I'm sure we'll find out that they're going to be used pretty soon. Here's Arn. Doesn't really have anywhere to go. Back to McKenzie. Whiteside. Veert's pushing up really, really high. It's going to be won by Halliday. Another header to the bandage. Matsumoto loses out there, and he's given away a free kick. And the crowd don't like it, but I think the referee's got that absolutely right. He just lost position to Angel there and then held him back a little bit. So it's going to be a Sydney Olympic free kick, and Whiteside gets on with it because Arn was in space. Arn now tries to put it out for Satalios, but that's overhit. And here's Harvey. Harvey nicely chipped over. No, it's gone out. Couldn't quite tell the angle there.
Joe Mullen, of course, coach of Campbelltown City, famous player in his own right. I don't think a player ever
stops being a player.
He has argued every decision with the fourth official, Christian Verdicchio. Every single one of them, he said, "Is that a foul?"
He says he's not.
No, he's not. Whiteside. Darcy Burgess. Detroyer. Whiteside's done well to recover there. And Matsumoto has swapped sides with Toure. Halliday. Back to Mullen. Harvey. Young Viet.
That was well read by Arn.
He was. Actually, very impressed with young Viet since he's come on. Should just call him Viet, really, not young Viet. Seems he's got a great little first touch.
Big
Doesn't
occasion for him. He's only played a handful of games in the first team. As we mentioned, he's played mostly in the reserves this season.
Doesn't look out of place, does he?
No, not at all.
Woodcock. Back to Burgess. Back to Woodcock. Try to find Burgess again, but cut out by Mullen. A little bit too much on that for Viet. Mackenzie. Things slowing down a little bit here at Steve Woodcock Sports Centre. Burgess, try to find Angel. All the way back to Whiteside. Arn. Burgess. Long ball forward. Tatalios at the back post. Heavy touch there by Harvey. But Campbelltown City good enough to see it out with Mullen, who's been super in this second half. Halliday. Long ball. Trying to find Viet. Can he get onto it? But Whiteside really under no pressure there at all. And no trouble for him as he knocks it back to the goalkeeper and Consoni. Looking for Pavicevic. That's easily won by Fife. Though Tatalios might get onto this. He has. Here's Pavicevic one-on-one with Harpus. Can he get around? Harpus has done really well to stop that.
Wow.
That was an opportunity. That was the one that Sydney Olympic have been trying to get this second half. It opened up for them.
He really closed the angle in the end there, Harpus.
Yeah.
Didn't give him much area to shoot either side. But what Pavicevic, and it's easy in hindsight, he might have thought about seeing if he could have held on to the ball. Much easier said than done, that's for sure. But Sydney Olympic have come up with the ball again. And here's that man again, Max Burgess. Great touch. Can he go himself? Still taking on the defence, but there were too many in his road, and Halliday's going to get the ball away now. And it's come out to great 1-2 there from Detroit to Pictionary, but he's lost out. Good contesting by both teams now here in midfield. But now there's a chance here for Madonis to shoot. He comes inside one. Madonis, great saving tackle by Halliday, and it had to be. Gee, Madonis looked like he was about to pull the trigger. And Halliday, who seems to have almost grown in strength since he came back on with the bandage, he was there with a goal-saving tackle. The corner's been taken short. Now the ball comes in from Whiteside. It's not bad, and it's a goal! It's well finished in the end by Max Burgess, but no, it's offside. And the Campbelltown supporters are relieved. Oh dear.
We just copped a spray from Joe Mullen. He said, did you see the flag? Come on, boys.
Well, as a matter of fact, there is a massive pole between us and the linesman in our defence.
I don't think Joe knows this is a national broadcast. He thinks it's going to South Australia only.
No, we're not a parochial call, Joe. Oh dear. He gives us a wink.
Yeah,
and
that's the reaction we wanted to see, because we don't want to upset Joe. Gee, Campbelltown City dodged that one, didn't they? But the assistant on the near side calling that offside. Thankfully for Burgess, he saw it before he took his top off. Otherwise, it would have been a yellow card and one less point.
Yes, good point.
Arn, Pavicevic. Burgess slips right at the vital moment. Darcy Burgess to his brother. Pavicevic, shape to shoot, decided against it. Madonis, who's been very impressive, the captain. Back to Darcy Burgess, but not the same finishing as his brother, and that's well wide.
In fairness to Joe Mullen, who's in front of us, and we've had some fun banter with him in the last few minutes, but, 3 times NSL champion and a 3-time championship winner as coach of Campbelltown.
Yep.
Coming here at a time when they only had a solitary championship to his name. So for all that, though, he's as modest and good-humoured as they come. It's been a bit of fun having him just a few metres away while we've been doing this call. And here's Satalios.
Trying to find Burgess inside. Well cut out, though, by Harvey. Viet. Out-muscled by Arn. Darcy Burgess. Madonis. Great little touch. Shape to give it to Angel, but cut back inside. Burgess. Max Burgess this is. Trying to find Angel. Can Angel get onto it? Did really well to get there, did Angel. And the ball stays in. It's Tatalios. And that's another corner for Sydney Olympic on the far side. That'll be their 11th corner.
You'd think that a goal now might just be the winner because we're 90 seconds away from stoppage time. And it's still Campbelltown City 1, Sydney Olympic 1 in this National Premier League semi-final. The winner to play against Lions FC in the final next weekend. It's going to be SA versus Queensland or New South Wales versus Queensland, what might be called a state of origin in another code. In comes the corner for Olympic. Again, it's a shallow one. A lot of them have been from Olympic, and that was easily dealt with in the end by Halliday. This time it's just going to be a throw. And Sydney Olympic, we mentioned that Campbelltown started this half well. Sydney Olympic are finishing it well. They've put on a lot of the pressure in these last 10 or 15 minutes. But they're going to lose the ball now, and Harvey's going to have the throw. Joe Mullen just urging on his team. Sard's been a bit quieter in the other box, just a few metres away from us. Here's Max Burgess again. Now looking like he was shaping. Now he's laid it off, and the shot in the end, not a bad effort, but probably covered by Harpus. It was Darcy Burgess who had a crack in the end, and I don't think Harpus would have had been troubled if it had been on target at that pace. Haji Gligor, I think, is warming up here for Sydney Olympic. Of course, he's played for both Sydney FC and Perth Glory, and he looks like he's getting ready to come on. We'll just wait to see. No, the goal kick's going to happen first, and there's 3 minutes of injury time. 3 minutes of injury time to see if somebody can get a winner before what would be an extra time period in another 30 minutes. Now, here goes Burgess again, having received the ball from Darcy, his brother. But Ian Fife's won that really well, and he's got some space, and he's got a few players ahead of him if he can find the right ball. But Sydney Olympic close. He does the little back heel for Viet. Viet now plays it out left for Detroyer, and he's going to overlap him if Detroyer can see him, but Detroyer cuts him board, and that probably wasn't the better option. With hindsight, Madonis now comes up with the ball for Sydney Olympic, and he plays it well, really, really well. And that was a really good back heel by Pavicevic, but Max Burgess couldn't quite get it. It's really willing in there between both sets of players. Really, really tough and tight in midfield. Arn gets the header back, and he brings it back to Pavicevic. He's well tackled there by Mullen. Did really well to tackle him cleanly from behind him. Tries to get the 1-2 from Viet, but it's been well won again by Arn, and here's Madonis. Gee, the pace is high right at the end. Madonis now looks ahead of him, and he finds Max Burgess. Max Burgess has only got Pavicevic. He's going to go himself if he's going to do anything. Max Burgess, can he pull the trigger? He just decided to hold on, and he had a sea of red players in front of him, and Matsumoto has some space now. He's looking inboard, but he's got players limping inside him because they're either injured or tired. And the moment's lost. Arn won it back now, and he got it back out to the left-hand side with Woodcock. Woodcock, can he get a ball in? Pavicevic is poised in the middle. Max Burgess, great little dink through back for Woodcock. But Matsumoto got back. It's all happening here at Campbelltown. Now, can we get a shot in here? Burgess tries to get the shot in, but he was never favourite to score from there. Gee, what a passage of play that was. And we've played all but 1 minute of injury time, and extra time is looming.
That was a very intense passage of play there. Haji Gligor sat back down. I think they'll make the change at full time or in extra time now. Vas Parhas, the assistant coach at Campbelltown City, calling over a substitution. Of course, we'll just remind you that teams are permitted a fourth substitution in extra time in this competition. Matsumoto now for Campbelltown City, looking for Detroyer. It's gone all the way to the back. Toure, first time shot, well blocked. Detroyer.
Penalty!
He's been given a penalty. The lunge from Arn has been penalised, and it'll be a penalty for Campbelltown City with 10 seconds left in injury time in the second half. Can you believe it? On the replay, it did look like a foul. The right decision has been made. The Sydney Olympic players are not protesting. They know it too. And it will be Ian Fife against Consoni for a chance in the grand final. the former Sydney Olympic player in Ian Fife, Sydney FC and Adelaide United. Can he put his Campbelltown City team into next week's grand final against Lion FC? If that happens, it will be played here in South Australia, folks.
Well, I don't want to mention a famous penalty he's taken before, but let's just hope that this one's a better result. A lot of people, I'm sure, will know what I'm talking about. But Fife now, all his experience, he is going to try to finish this off with what will almost surely be the last kick of the game.
A few people in the stand behind us, Paul clutching their chest.
Yeah, I mean, this really is the deciding kick. It's either going to be a Campbelltown win and a final here between Campbelltown and Lions, or it's going to be extra time. Ian Fife against Ezekiel Consoni, who's been so good in goal for Sydney Olympic today. Fife now, the veteran, 36 years old, huge experience, runs on the spot. Ian Fife has scored! Campbelltown have done it, and Joe Mullen knows it. He runs onto the pitch, the subs run onto the pitch, there's barely enough time to take a restart. Campbelltown City are going to have their most famous day in their history next weekend when they host the grand final here at Newton at the Steve Woodcock Sports Centre against Lions FC. Sydney Olympic will be devastated. They started so well, they could have been out of sight in the first half an hour, but they're down 2-1, and there surely isn't enough time for them to be able to score in what could only be a handful of seconds remaining.
Well, the penalty was given after 2.5 minutes. There was 3 minutes of injury time, so 30 seconds.
And if you're wondering what penalty I'm talking about, Ian Fife, he famously missed in the shootout against Brazil that could have made Australia world champions at under 17 level in 1999. He scored now. Sydney Olympic have thrown everything forward. There's a clearance. There's the final whistle. Campbelltown City have done it. They will be in the National Premier League Grand Final for the first time. They have been in this competition before in 2013. They went out in the semi, and they're going to play Lions FC here next Sunday. Put it in your diary. It's going to be a fantastic occasion, and they will try to be the first South Australian team to win this competition since Northeastern Metro Stars in 2014. It's South Australia against Queensland in the final. Lions FC will seek to do what Brisbane Strikers couldn't last year, and that is take out the National Premier League final. It's been an unbelievable match. Campbelltown looked like they could never have gotten back into it early on, but they showed a huge amount of resilience and they played a great second half, Spiro.
Yeah, second half was all Campbelltown City. If you're a Sydney Olympic fan, commiserations, but unfortunately you didn't take your chances in that first half. You should have been out of sight. And of course, our game, like we said earlier on, is all about chances. And Campbelltown City took theirs, and they will play, and not just play, they will host the grand final next week between themselves and Lions FC. You've got to be disappointed if you're Abbassad, the better team in that first half, but they really didn't perform in that second half, and Campbelltown City, led admirably by Alex Mullen, was so good in that second 45 minutes.
They certainly were, and there was that period, probably about a 10-minute period, where Sydney Olympic were squeezing late in the second half, and they were really asking the questions, but Campbelltown's defence stood up so well. What a comeback for Fife. I mean, he started the game poorly. I'm sure he would say that himself.
Yeah.
But he and Mullen, and they were ably helped out by players like Pictionary and Alex Mullen. That was Matthew Mullen I was referring to earlier, who was the centre-back partner for Fife. They were under a huge amount of pressure, but they never really gave Sydney Olympic much of a good chance. There was that one moment, I think, where Madonis got through, and that last gasp tackle by Halliday saved the day. But you wouldn't say that Harpers had to make any massive saves in that second half, despite the pushing that Sydney Olympic were doing late in the game.
Yeah, no, not really. nothing comes to mind in that second half for Harpers, except, like you said, Paul, maybe that one-on-one opportunity late with Pavicevic, where Pavicevic should have done better. I'd love to see the replay of the Max Burgess goal. He scored a great header. It was given offside, but
to be fair, there were very few complaints from the Sydney Olympic players. I mean, we're on,
and the same with the penalty. I think they knew.
Yeah, we're on a pretty bad angle here, and as I mentioned, there's actually a floodlight between me and where that linesman or assistant referee, I should say, was standing, and unfortunately we didn't pick it up right away, but. Sydney Olympic will feel like they really could have won this match. Their players are in a huddle at the moment. Their season is over, and they really could have gone all the way. Such a club with a storied history. They played in all but one of the 28 NSL seasons, twice NSL champions, twice winners of the NSL Cup. They are a storied team in Australian history, but today is not their day. They've won the premiership and the championship double in New South Wales, and you can't say that isn't an outstanding achievement, and they've always got that to celebrate for 2018.
We're going to wrap up our broadcast here from Steve Woodcock Sports Centre. The winners are Campbeltown City of South Australia. They will go into the final next week, where we will welcome players like Giancarlos Solazano and Sean Carlos of Lions FC to be crowned champions of Australia, and the winner, of course, will have a place in the round of 32 in the FFA Cup proper in 2019. On behalf of myself, Spiro, and my colleague Paul, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week for that great grand final. Campbeltown City 2, Sydney Olympic 1.